The number one thing is if it's good content, it will get views and it will do well. You can't
Mm.
use hashtags to push bad content.
Here is your daily dose of the Ultimate Sales Machine coming to you from the new edition. Visit ultimatesalesmachine.com to get your copy or multiple copies. I am your host, Amanda Holmes, CEO of Chet Holmes International. What you're about to learn has assisted 250,000 businesses to generate billions of dollars, working faster, better, smarter. Welcome, everybody, to the CEO Mastery Show. Amanda Holmes here, your host. I also have from our executive team, Troy Aberle, our executive strategy officer. And today we have a very special power team duo on a call. I don't think I've ever actually done a father-son interview besides Troy with his son, and it was one of our most watched episodes. So I anticipate this one being very well received, especially since, Carson, what an amazing story you have. So for those that are unfamiliar, Carson Matthews, less than 2% of athletes go pro. Carson was able to be part of the very small percentage that went pro. He played for the Los Angeles Angels, and he used his signing bonus to start his business, which you gotta love. Then he went from that and transitioned into his business a couple years later, which 78% of pro athletes go broke within 3 years of retirement. But Carson managed to, while he was still playing baseball, transition into BallBoyzSoap, Boyz with a Z. And in the last 8 months, he has sold 35,000 customers on his BallBoyzSoap. And it's mostly using TikTok, which is just shocking. Hence why this week's episode is the 3 tips to posting on TikTok that generated 45,000 customers in less than 8 months flat. Carson, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk about this.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure it will help a lot of people because I never talk about TikTok. So
Perfect.
it's an interesting topic. And then we also have Steve Matthews on, who is the father of Carson, who obviously gets a ton of praise for just raising such a wonderful son. 25 years as a career in cybersecurity. He's led as an individual contributor. He's been the head of global sales organizations for some of the largest in cybersecurity. And as far as I understand, he's now joined his son with the business.
Thanks,
Steve.
Amanda. Yeah, I basically work for Carson. So it's humbling to have a 24-year-old boss, but I love it. And it's truly at this stage of my life, it's one of the greatest joys that I have. But thank you for having us.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. I would love to just dive in, Carson. So we have 3 tips to posting on TikTok that helped you generate 45,000 clients in 8 months. Can you give us, what is the first tip that you had for TikTok posting?
Yeah, I'd say the first tip most people get wrong is they don't niche down enough. Most people they're trying to use organic videos to get clients. They're usually
Mm.
starting a business. It's not like an established business. So people are worried about niching down because they think that limits them. But you can always grow bigger, but it's harder to go from really big to really small. So what I did, I tried to
Mm.
niche down as small as possible with 2 areas that I knew more than the average person in. So that was baseball, sports, and skincare. And I combined those 2 things, and I know that's a different thing that most people haven't heard of before. And so I started with just baseball. I wouldn't, obviously now we're all sports, but I started with just baseball because I wanted to get the smallest market possible. And if I did a product that was just baseball, not skincare, that would be super saturated. But baseball and skincare, like that's never happened before. And then so what happens when you niche down to start the video, that audience clings onto it. It's almost like a tribal mentality because they feel that they're watching themselves in the video, and that's important. And so like
Mm.
I like to use the analogy because everyone's seen the I forgot what movie it is. It's like sell me this pen, and then
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like famous, but no one knows how to sell a pen online. It's different. Marketing online is different than selling something in person. And so I think it kind of comes down to niching down as small as possible. If I were to sell a pen online, I wouldn't just sell a pen saying, "Oh, this is a great pen." I'd sell it to left-handed grandmas in Florida. They want to sell, they want to write to their grandchildren. And so that's kind of my philosophy is just niche down as small as possible as you can, and then you can grow from there. So that's kind of what I did.
And I think your dad was sharing how you had the problem yourself.
Can you tell us a little bit about where you came up with the idea?
Yeah, so I mean, I always struggled with acne. I mean, I feel like a lot of people that play sports do. You're always sweating, getting dirt. And I'd always look for something. I didn't trust any, not I didn't trust it, but I just didn't like all those chemicals, those long words that I couldn't read. I feel like I shouldn't be putting those on my body. I didn't want to use Accutane because I know it has some hormone imbalances. And
Mm.
so I always did a bunch of research on stuff that's been used for thousands of years and what worked best. And I've always created my own. And so the formulas that we're using for Ball Boys is stuff that I've always used on my face.
Wow, interesting. When was the shift that happened from, oh, this is a good idea to, I'm actually going to try this? Did you ask around, think that maybe it might be something that other people would be interested in?
Nope, I was actually we're on the road. I was in Ohio at a Red Roof Inn taking a shower. And I was like, ah, you know what? This would be a great idea. Because I was looking at the soap and there's some random soap at probably 99 cents. Like, this is not good for me. And I was like, you know what? This would be really cool. I'm just going to do it. So on the bus ride home from that trip, I created the logo, created the site, and did everything. And I was like, all right, let's just roll it.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, how cool. And Steve, I love how you have guided him, and it was something that you had said earlier I found really interesting. Can you share to everyone about, as a parent, watching your son and what you wanted for him? How did you guide him on this process?
Carson came to us this way, but he's always been curious. And I've never seen a library of a young person where he's got at least 250 books on some aspect of life that he's interested in. And for him, I would say the majority is a growth mindset. He's always been committed to lifelong learning. And I remember when he called me and he said, "Hey, I've been researching how to do better skincare, and I'm thinking I might want to, make some stuff." And then I know his teammates noticed it. "Hey, Carson, wow, your face and everything. What are you doing? And can you make me some?" And then all of a sudden he goes, "Dad," because I wonder if there's other people out there that might want to have the same benefit that I'm getting. And I said, "Carson, I'm over my skis on soap and online marketing." So put him in touch with a good friend that was the co-founder of Stance Socks. And he and Carson collaborated. He said, "Well, Carson, go ahead and set up a site, see what happens." And it kind of went from there. But I guess the point is that Carson was never driven by, I got to make money. It was, how can I help other people? And as a parent, is more gratifying. Of course, I want him to be successful, but his ethos of helping others and putting their needs above his own is, to me, the bigger success story.
Mm, love that. Anything you want to add to that, Troy? Because I know that you're so big on helping your children be entrepreneurs.
I love what Steve said because most parents get nervous, and I feel like it's hard for them to be empowering. And I can hear that thoughtfulness in your voice and what you said. He was brought to us this way, meaning you were allowing him to be a product of who he was designed to be. And I think that that's really noble. I think that's really cool. I think Carson has a lot to be grateful for there, but I think you have a lot to be complimented for there as well.
I wish
So
his mom.
good.
Yeah.
Aw. Okay, Carson, it's back to you. I'm throwing the ball over. What is the second biggest tip for posting on TikTok that helped you generate 45,000 customers in 8 months?
The second tip, nobody cares about your product at all. People come to me all the time. They're like, oh, I have this protein powder. It's so good, Like, how do I sell it? I was like, okay, well, what's the story? Like, oh, it's like really good. I'm like, yeah, everyone's protein powder is really good. Everyone's product is the best in the world. It's not the best products that sell, as I'm sure you guys know. It's the emotional connection, at least to start. I'd rather buy shoes from, I see a video from some 12-year-old kid that made them with his bare hands. Be like, that's cool, rather than buy like, it's just people care about the story because people want to feel like they're helping. People want that emotional connection. They want that tribal mentality. So when I tell people I started this during a minor league baseball season, these moms are like, oh my gosh, my kid plays sports. I get it. That's such a cool story. I'm gonna buy it. And you almost Trojan horse your way in because then once you're in, the product is actually good. And like, wait a sec, this product is great. I'm gonna keep buying it. And it's a good story. So it's a plus. Especially to start, you need to dial down that story. You need to nail down that story. It's the most important thing. So you got to find whatever your story is. Like, there's a book, I forgot what it's called, some creating your story brand or whatever. And it's just points out all the things like no one cares about your product. People care how they perceive themselves through their product. They perceive themselves being like, wow, I'm supporting a minor league baseball player. I'm a good person. People want to feel like they're a good person for buying your product. They want to feel like the hero. So you gotta do whatever you can to make them feel like the hero in the scenario. Don't lie. Don't like lie about it, but make it a good story so people feel good about buying it.
Carson's sincere about that though, right? It's not a ruse. It's an ethos, right? It's just part of his DNA. And I do think that that comes across to those that have invested in his product.
No, the first, I mean, still now, like my best videos are because obviously what's good about TikTok too is that it's a free testing platform because obviously you want to move into paid ads. The best testing platform is TikTok. If it does well on TikTok, it's going to do well on ads most of the
Yeah.
time. I would say 90% of the times if it rips on TikTok, it's going to do really well on ads. So
Yeah.
that's something. And if in my videos, I don't even talk about my product. I don't go like it has this and this and this. I just say, yeah, there was a problem, and I did this and that, and that's what happened. But I don't talk about the product.
I'm curious how often, because I find this in my own posting, I wonder how many times to post the same kind of story. So do you take that same story of like, I'm a minor league baseball player and I was getting really annoyed about my acne. Do you repeat that same story over and over again in other scenarios? Like, how does that look from
I
posting on a regular basis?
I rinse and repeat it as much as possible. With just I change a few different words of different visuals. I'll change the fonts because in reality, people are like, "Oh, I'm posting the same thing or I'm posting the same ad." Like people are getting tired of this. No, there's so many people out there.
Mm.
Unless you're McDonald's, if you keep posting the same thing, people aren't going to notice because your goal is to have 99% of your viewers of at least if it's not a retargeting campaign, if we're talking about paid ads, organic stuff, you want new people to being reached. So no, I see no problem reposting the same thing. I mean, that's what successful companies do. They know it's successful. 20% of your messaging is going to give you 80% of your profits. So whatever is the 20% that's giving you the most, you just have to keep dialing that down.
I love that. Anything that you wanted to add to that, Steve?
Honestly, I've been in B2B sales forever. And so the whole social media phenomenon, and especially in Carson's demographic, I've been learning from him from that regard. And there's some things that I've tried to take and incorporate into my other life, if you will. And so really, it's just been a learning experience for me as well. And oftentimes it's kind of funny because Carson will say, but Dad, you don't understand. And he's right. A lot of times I don't understand. So I definitely have to consume a little bit of, humble pie and realize that I don't have all the answers, right? And I have to also get better each day with learning this new route to market.
I remember the first time that I interviewed Troy's son. I hired Troy's son first, Luke, before we brought on Troy, which is hilarious. He Dream 100'd me, which was just brilliant, this kid. And he was educating me on all of the hashtags. I was like, so have you ever posted on social? And he's like, yes. Well, on Instagram, you can only have this many hashtags. On Facebook, you can have this many. And I've gotten kicked off a couple of times because I did this wrong. And so then I realized that this is what I need to do. And at the time, he was like 12. And I looked at him like, you know so much more than me. And here I am thinking I'll educate him. And he just kept teaching me. That makes me curious how much you use hashtags, Carson.
Never. Well, sometimes, but I don't think it's that important.
Never.
I don't think it's that important. These social media, I
Fascinating.
mean, I use it sometimes just like if I'm just like subconsciously writing hashtags, but I don't think it matters. What I do is because I mean the AI on these social media platforms is so smart, like your
Mm.
hashtags aren't going to do anything. They already know their messaging within it. They know who to send it to. But I will say what I do, I don't even know if this helps, but I've heard it does. I'll put text on the videos and I'll make it super small and I put it so like say if my finger I put it out of the camera so you can't see it. But when you have words in your video, apparently it helps, but I've honestly stopped doing that. I don't think hashtags are you can't, it's hard to manipulate it. The number one thing is if it's good content, it will get views and it will do well. You can't
Mm.
use hashtags to push bad content.
Mhm.
So
Aha.
all that matters
And
is the content.
and another thing that you had said that was very important was realizing who actually buys from you. when going back to number one, needing to be super niched, it wasn't always the ball boy that was buying from you, it was their mother.
Right. Yeah. Originally, I thought that it'd be a bunch of athletes and like these, I mean, whoever was buying it. And then I see the orders coming through. It's 99% moms. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, okay, that's good to know now. So now I market to moms. I'm like, is your kid sad that he's ugly? You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah. And then it just helps. So when I message to the moms, it's a lot better.
And this ties back to, I mean, our whole chapter 4 of Ultimate Sales Machine, right? Speaking me, we, talking only to the ones that are ready to buy versus talking about what keeps you up at night and who is that person that you're speaking to. And it's so great that you had social to be able to test that to a market without having to spend on ads at first, right? You were just
Right.
doing it
Yeah.
organically.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, TikTok and organic can only go so far until you have owned media where you have millions of followers. But it's a great place to test proof of concept. Proof of concept is everything. That's what makes me super upset. That's like my pet peeve. Is people all have like buddies that start a business and like, oh, I got my site so good. I ordered the products. I'm like, why'd you order products? You don't even know if you could sell it. Don't order, you should never order a product. You should only order one mock-up and then try to sell it. I sold my stuff with zero products on hand. Zero. I just used random mock-ups that I got online and I used a bar of soap that was just a random bar of soap I didn't even use. And then when people ordered, I was like, hey, we're a small company. Thank you so much for supporting us. We've grown so quick, so fast. We're gonna have stuff coming in super soon. You can get a refund or you can wait a little bit. And 100% of the time, people are like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah, of course I'll wait. I love to support a small company. And so you need to get proof of concept first. That's the biggest thing because you're going to spend all this money. Like you can start as many businesses as you want with $0 with proof of concept. If I were starting a clothing company, I wouldn't buy 5,000 shirts. Yeah, I wouldn't even get a one mock. I would just get a mock-up, put it online, and then whatever messaging I want that clothing company to have, I'd tell that message and be like, oh yeah, here's the shirt. I wouldn't never. That's the number one product or thing people make when it comes to e-com, I would say.
You're so young, so you have no idea how simple and how brilliant what you've done is yet. Because we talk to people all day long that cannot articulate, one, who their ideal client is, and then two, what is the painful problem that they are solving. Just the one simple. And it seems that you've been able to hit just so specifically on what their pain is to the right person that's buying that managed to make that flow. So congratulations there.
Thank you.
Troy, anything that you're thinking that you want to say before
Well,
we go to tip number 3?
I love that because, in my brain, Carson said, if my kid came to me, there's got to be nothing worse as a parent, knowing that your kid came and said, Mom, Dad, am I ugly? I've got zits all over. I've got all these problems. And you say, just go to bed. It'll be better tomorrow, knowing they're getting on the bus, still feeling horrible about themselves and they're going to have another crap day. The way you said it seems so blunt, but yet it's so true. And it actually resonated better with me as, man, I got to go to work knowing my kids think that they're ugly. What is it I could do? And here's this other kid that said he had problems with acne. He figured out a solution. Take my credit card, right? You're not even looking at the price at that point because you've related to me at such an emotional level. That's how I felt.
So good. Okay, Carson, the third tip to posting on TikTok that helped you generate 45,000 clients in 8 months. What is it?
A good call to action. I know it sounds simple, but a lot of people get it wrong. They think, oh, they watched the whole video. There doesn't need to be a call to action. There definitely does because people that market get it wrong. They think, oh, they know where to go to my site. They know. No, people need to be hit in the face with it to know. Because like most people watch a video and be like, oh, I'll come back later. Like that's really cool. Save. They'll never come back. You have to say, click this, shop now, whatever it is. Actually, on organic videos, don't say click the link because then it won't push it because they don't want people going off their platforms. But paid advertising, there's a shop now button. Say you have to tell them to shop now because it makes you the guide and not the hero. So in a video, the person watching it is supposed to be the hero for why they're buying it. You, the advertiser, is supposed to be the guide. People would make themselves the hero in the video, and people don't care about the hero. They want themselves to be the hero. I know that's a lot of words, but in my head, I'll say things that make sense in Carson, and I'll say it, and it doesn't really make sense out loud. But pretty much guide them to your site And when you guide them, the site will be a map to purchase.
So you said don't say click the link if it's an organic piece. How did you get people back to your website then if you weren't telling them to click the
Well,
link?
that's tough. I mean, TikTok, there's TikTok shop and stuff, but really now on TikTok, I don't even care about getting sales from TikTok. I just use it as a testing platform for my paid ads. I don't care about
Wow.
getting sales on TikTok anymore.
Wow. When did you shift over from the TikTok to paid?
Once we started capping out, like we would realize, okay, we're having, we're getting like a couple $1,000 just organic $0 ad spend from TikTok. Like that's pretty good. But then organic is so volatile because then you're gonna have days where you don't make like really any money. And then so
Mm.
and also paid advertising is hard. It's not like you have a good video on TikTok and it's gonna like it's tough. Facebook makes it hard on purpose. They don't want bad advertisers on there. So like if you don't know what's going on, then you don't know what's going on. So that was a big learning curve for me. A lot of lost money, but I mean it was worth it. But I kind of knew once I knew that this officially had proof of concept, I was like, okay, we have to do paid advertisement. And from there, it kind of just skyrocketed.
And would you pick the videos that had the most likes and comments or the ones where you think you got the most sales from them?
I mean, the most sales always had the most likes, comments, and views, so it all went hand in hand.
Interesting. And Steve, were you a part of helping with that transition between TikTok to paid?
No, really, what the byproduct of that was Carson would get a lot of inquiries from some very, very large sports agencies. I mean, these are anyone that knows anything about sports or even the world of entertainment. They would reach out and say, hey, we would like to be involved. With my B2B background, that's kind of one of the areas Carson has chartered me to oversee. And so we are in discussions with some very large sports agencies, but again, that's a different podcast, Amanda, because their needs and their requirements for their globally known personas is vastly different. And so we've also had to educate them on what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. It's just a whole different conversation, but it has created more awareness to develop other routes to market so that we're not just beholden to a thin area of distribution, right? So that's been one of the byproducts, the positive byproducts of having such an effective advertising platform.
Troy, anything you want to add hearing this? Because I know you also watch your son Luke post all the time, and you're always updating me on all the experiments he's doing.
Well, I think it's interesting because listening to Carson talk about TikTok and getting that information, as Amanda and I teach people on how to figure out who your Dream 100 customer is, what is the information that you can get from TikTok? I think it's fascinating about, is there pieces, Carson, that you're taking then of what characteristics are these people that are proving that it's a great concept on TikTok? And then as you build out ads onto the other platforms or what have you, is there information that you can gather from TikTok and move that into the next ad to be that much more pointed, if you will?
I wouldn't say I really take information from TikTok, honestly. I literally just look at whatever video performed best and I just keep rinsing and repeating that with different words and visuals. Like, and what I'll do too now on paid advertisements, I'll use a static ad and it will just be like a headline. And whatever headline gets the most clicks, I turn that headline into a video. So, like, for instance, I call them like golden headlines where it's something that has nothing to do with the product. So, like, for instance, a couple of days ago, I launched one that says, this product doubled my water bill. And people were like, what? How does that have to do with anything? And I wrote below it, like, it was like, this cleared my son's acne in 2 weeks. The only problem is he won't stop washing his face with it now because he loves it so much. It's going to double my water bill. And it's like, that's doing really well. So I'm going to create that into a video this week. There's one I said, this tore my family apart. And it's like, I have 3 boys. They keep fighting over this. It's turned my house into a war zone. It's great, but now my kids hate each other. So it's like they're kind of funny. But so then I'll turn that into videos based off the static feedback.
I love that. How often are you launching new ads?
Every day. I launch like 8 a day.
Wow.
Holy cow, that is a lesson for everyone listening right now because so many just pick 1 or 2 and run with it forever.
Yeah, you
My
gotta
father was the same.
Yeah, you got to be tactical with it. Like there's an ad, say I'll work on an ad for like, well, now I'm hiring people to do the ads for me because it takes 17 hours. But like you got to be tactical with it. Some people will look at an ad and be like, "Wow, I love this ad. It's gonna do so well," and then it does really bad, and then the ad that you worked 5 seconds on does well. Like you got to be able to turn them off, turn them on, know it works, know it doesn't. Take your ego out of it. So that's something I had to learn. It's a content game. People, whether
Yeah.
it's organic or paid, you got to feed it because you're gonna hit it. If your product's good, you're gonna hit it, but it's a lot.
I love that so much. I used to go back and look through all my father's ads from radio, and I have hundreds of recordings of him trying different kinds of ads. And when he found the one that really landed, then he kept trying to, make one produce more than that one, but that one ran for years.
Mhm.
So very interesting. You find those sweet spots if you just keep working at it. That's that mastery isn't about doing 4,000 different things.
Exactly.
Wow, the 3 tips to posting on TikTok that helped you generate 45,000 customers in 8 months flat. It's been such a joy and a privilege. And I have to also thank Steve for being a fan of Ultimate Sales Machine and reading the book and then handing it to your next generation. And that's what we're seeing more and more. And it means a lot that you've I've seen both of you come into this world, because it's so inspiring to see what Carson is doing and what you've been able to do to assist him and how you're working together now. It's really special.
Well, I think we need to thank, starting with your father. I felt like I'm part of the family now, especially meeting you, Amanda. But just reading and listening to the book on a consistent basis. And for your viewers out there, that's the one advice I would give each of you is you have to look at the Ultimate Sales Machine, not as a book, but as a reference guide. Because I'm constantly going back and say, what did Chet and Amanda and Troy say about, my Dream 100? And there's always little tweaks I'm making in any endeavor that I have. And so again, it needs to be a reference book. It needs to be, constantly. I mean, my mind is dog-eared. I mean, it just, I have it on my desk at all times. I'm always referring to it. And thank you for your fathers sharing this message with the business world. It's helped me become a better person, a better father, a better, I think, sales executive. So I'd like to put it back in your court and just say thank you for all that you do for us.
So thank you so much. And Troy was the one that was like, "Oh, this is such a great story. You have to meet these two." So thank you for making that happen, Troy.
Thank you.
Any last final words, Carson?
Anyone can do it. I don't know. That was cheesy, but I want to say something.
I think that's very true. So
I think he's got pig-headed determination, Amanda, was what he was trying to say.
He does.
He's going to go places, and you're already doing wonderful. Good job, Carson. Good job, Steve. It's a pleasure to get
Thank
to know
you.
both of you.
And so the best way for people to find you, BallBoyz with a Z soap,
Yep.
is it .com?
Yeah, BallBoyzSoap.com, BallBoyz soap.com.
And then they can find you on TikTok.
And yeah,
well.
TikTok and Instagram. Check us out.
Wonderful. Well, such a pleasure, you two. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure to get your copy or copies at theultimatesalesmachine.com. There's a lot of special bonuses that you can't get going to Amazon, so make sure you check it out at ultimatesalesmachine.com.